like the city, but I am tired of the same people, of the same things. I want to escape now to another place now, but with you, 'cause I don't want to be alone. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy.
4 French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. The 3 wide again, Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across, they're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
But before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy, you know, these are 5-ton machines, 1200 horsepower brake.
Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been loved and a terrific show off.
Ben Gregory now, I love this. 16.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to round 5 in the inaugural season of the UGX Clio Cup here from Monza, the Temple of Speed, Autodromo Nazionale Monza, as it is fully known. We're here for the 5th round of the championship. We unfortunately missed the 4th round of the season, actually, here on Chaz Draycott Media, which took place at the Red Bull Ring. Gutted that we missed that one. However, we will, of course, hope to return there in future seasons of this great championship. We previously broadcasted at Barcelona, Catalunya, where we had a great race, once again won by Laurens van Straaland, and he is absolutely dominating the championship at the moment. Speaking of said championship, here are the current points standings as we look at round 5 of the season. Van Straaland currently 20 points clear at the top from Leroy Bolkestein, but Leroy is really fighting with him up there. Stefan van der Velde is in 3rd place on 70 points. He's 22 behind Bolkestein, but Michael van der Ven is in 4th place, and then it's mighty close. Martin Smit, Julian Van Buell and Ron Bosman only separated by 4 points. Another 5 points separate Kilian Boss, Stefan Westra, Jermaine Venhorst and Patrick van den Bos, and then only 2 points back is Guido Decker. So as you see, nice and close in the championship. Very, very tasty indeed. Stefan Westra has only appeared at 2 rounds so far this season, but he's actually one of the quickest drivers out there. He's currently the fastest in this current practice session. Laurens van Straaland has just popped into the pit lane, but Westra is quickest at the moment. Here is 3rd place driver Julian Van Buell at the moment. Julian in car number 5, hoping to, well, not do more of that as the night goes on. It's easy to do that, unfortunately, here at Monza. The car doesn't always want to behave itself through somewhere like the Ascari chicane. These cars try and kick the back end out very often. We'll have a look actually here on board with Patrick van den Bos as he heads down into the Della Roggia chicane for another practice lap. You can see the back end tries to get away from you as you turn and brake in these little Clio Cup cars. Fantastic little racing machines. We have qualifying coming up in just a moment, but look, he's constantly keeping that rear end in check when he's off the power and on the brakes. And when you're on the power, it's not so bad because the front end is gripping up and pulling the rear end along. It's very difficult indeed. That's the G-Force racing driver of Patrick van den Bos. He makes his way down towards Ascari once more with only 20 seconds left in practice. We'll get going very shortly for qualifying. Here's Guido Decker. Current look at the conditions, and you can see it's 31 degrees track temperature here, so it's mighty hot. But it is only 10:15 in the morning in the simulator, so it's only going to get hotter as the evening goes on tonight. But it's great to be here at the Temple of Speed at Monza, an amazing circuit in any championship, no matter how you look at it, and especially in these Clios. I'm delighted to say that in the real world I've commentated on the actual Clio Cup Europe here at Monza, and it was in the wet, and we had nearly 50 cars take part, and it was a fantastic, fantastic weekend of racing. Not quite as many here though, but that doesn't matter. We're still going to have a great time of it, I'm very sure. The drivers go out for lone qualifying here, so as you see, there's not really a rush to leave the pit lane that's full of drivers. It's just the single drivers one at a time here, so no slipstream to be used in qualifying. You can see they sort of spawn into their own session. Here is Stefan Westra, not Stephen Westra as I said before, in the Hellmann's branded number 88 machine. I believe that's just the standard iRacing livery. I think I have trading paints on. It should be on anyway, but I'll maybe get that livery updated shortly for Stefan Westra. It is actually re-downloading them as we speak, so you may see the liveries update as we go along, but Stefan will be bringing the saucy side of things tonight. That is for sure. He will be on the pace at the front of the pack, but he needs to beat this man, Laurens van Strijland, who has won a lot of the races so far in this campaign and has definitely been the guy to beat in this very raspy little Clio. It's only a 10-minute session here. They can do up to 4 laps in these qualifying sessions. However, with how long a lap is around here, they will definitely not get all 4 in with a outlap as well. So I'm excited to see how the guys get on here and how close qualifying will be. There's a lot of pressure on them to qualify at Monza, because like I say, they don't get many opportunities to get laps on the board. Down towards Ascari goes Van Strijland. We'll have a look actually on board through Ascari. There's a big bump on the left-hand side, really difficult to get right. You've got to be so careful of those sausage curbs. They can catch anybody out, but it's the exit as well where you can get an off-track and, of course, pick up penalties and slowdown penalties in particular, which will really affect you and obviously hurt your run down the start-finish straight. Round the final corner, previously known as the Parabolica, now known as Curva di Alboreto. You can see that Westra has done 2 purple sectors on his opening lap. We wait to see what he does. Teammates with Laurens van Strijland by the look of it. Into the first corner goes the 88 machine. Apologies for not having that livery on a little bit earlier. Let's have a look at what Bart Verkerk's wearing this week. He's still in the Barbie liveries, Bart Verkerk. Could call it the Barbie car. In car 193, he had a massive accident at Catalunya. Here's Martin Smit. He was very entertaining at Catalunya. Look forward to seeing how he gets on tonight. We've got Marco and Mikel van der Ven in the beautiful Ilanus Motorsport liveries. Slightly different colours on them. We have Mikel in the blue car and Marco in the purple car, which I will try to remember. Marco in the purple version, like I say. Just those little lightning bolts all in their own sort of tiny little highlights, which is always nice to see. It's great when you get a team that does have the slight differences between their colour schemes. But Stefan Westra is on a mission here. He's really flying at this moment in time in car 88, heading down towards Ascari. Let's see how tidy he gets this. 2 purple sectors so far on this lap, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. Not improving though in sector 3, so maybe the Lesmo's not quite as good that time round. Julian Van Buel has actually done a purple sector 3 on this lap. But look how little steering lock they use here. They've got to be so smooth in these low-powered cars. Not spin up those front tyres, not let the scrub really affect them. But Westra is flying down towards the Alboreto. White Van Gaming in the chat saying, you again. Something to tune into as I eat. I hope it's not Seabrooks crisps, my friend. But Westra, another purple sector there. And look at this. They're not running out wide on the left-hand side of the circuit to keep the momentum up. These cars don't have enough power to use all of that. So they just take the tighter line down the inside, straight over that white line to the start-finish. And across the line goes Stefan Westra to set the benchmark time. 2 minutes 12.257. Van Buel is half a second off that. Guido Decker 2 seconds off. Where's Lauren van Strijland in all of this? He goes third fastest, nearly a second slower than Westra. Incredible difference. Leroy Bolkestein as well. He's right up there in the championship in this gorgeous G-Force racing machine. Mikkel van der Ven not far behind as well. Guido Decker, then Martin Smit, Marco van der Ven. Stefan van der Velde has not completed his lap yet. And you're absolutely right, White Van Gaming. But it's down to the championship, not down to me. This is not a league that I run. It's the first time I've actually broadcasted a league that I don't run on my own channel for quite a while, to be fair. And it's great to be back with the UGX Clio Cup. And like I've said previously, it may not have the biggest grids in the world, but it doesn't matter because the racing that we saw at Catalunya with just 12 cars was phenomenal. It was brilliant. We have 12 cars here again tonight. Harrow Gooden hasn't been out for qualifying just yet. We look at Barbie Verkerk around the final corner. Or Bartby, I should say. He's running quite wide to the left there, so hopefully, for his sake, getting a run down the start-finish straight to start a new lap. Van der Ven clearly had a problem on his lap because he was 5 seconds off the pace. Van der Velde just crossing the line now. Stefan puts his first time on the board. Where does that get him? 6th fastest at the moment at 2:13.7 for Stefan van der Velde. But we look back at Westra. Guido Decker doing a purple sector 1. Guido absolutely flying. He's done a green sector 2 but not sector 3. So a bit of improvement here and there. It sounds like they're backing out on certain laps here, but they're just being smooth on the throttle all the way around there. And Gooden has a qualifying ban. That's understandable. Makes sense why he's not out there then at this moment in time. So we look forward to seeing Harrow in the dinosaur livery make his way through from the back of the pack. Westra's just ahead of Decker here, so see how he gets on. Guido's done a really good job there, though. Another green sector actually in sector 4, so we'll shift the focus back to him as he crosses the line, the man himself at UGX. Where does that put him in the proceedings? It moves him up 1 position, but 9/10 difference to his previous lap, so he'll be much happier with that time. Marco van der Ven is about to cross the line. That's Mikkel van der Ven that we just looked at. They're both M van der Vens as well. Across the line goes the 666. And Marco, well, apparently doing a 2:19.5, and that's him calling his session there. He's not going to have enough time, I don't think, to get back into the pits and get around again. Lauren van Strijland is back on another quick lap, is he? Or is he backed out? It's hard to tell. They've not got a lot of power, these Clios. They're just under 200 horsepower, 1.6 litre turbocharged engines. They make a great old racket and a lovely pop and bang here and there, just like the real world cars. I've had a lot of experience of commentating on the Clio 5 race cars, and they are amazing bits of kit. I was so excited to see them come to iRacing. Still excited to have them on my screens now as well. Through the first of the Lesmos he goes. But it's Westra that is fastest at the moment, or Vestra as it might be said. Stefan top of the pile. Leroy Bolkestein up there in 4th place. But it's quite a spread in the pace at the moment. Bart Verkerk has started another lap, but I think he's had another off-track penalty somewhere around the lap. Julian Van Buel, 2nd place, has completed his session. And that is him done for this one. So Harrow Gooden and this man, Bart Verkerk, are the 2 drivers not to have put a time in yet, but as mentioned, Harrow Gooden has a qualifying ban. Potentially a penalty for previous contact or incidents in another race. Still a minute left to go here, and Verkerk will get the time to complete this lap, I believe, so doesn't need to worry too much. Goes over to the right a little bit just there after the De La Roggia chicane. Around the first of the Lesmos he goes. In this very garish Renault Clio. But Bart has always enjoyed a garish livery. He said that he was going to try and do a special one for the end of the season as well. let's not forget, this isn't the final round of the championship. We have Monza as the penultimate round, and then the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Now you can score up to 30 points for a race victory. The gap between Van Strijland and Bolkestein is currently 20 points, so Leroy Bolkestein mathematically could still take the title away from Van Strijland, so long as the latter has a bad time. So we'll have to wait and see what he makes of it. Martin Smit has completed his time. Stefan van der Velde is just behind Bart Verkerk there. We'll go on board with van der Velde and see what he can do around the final corner. See how tidy and smooth he can keep this. Oh wow, okay, so it has actually quit straight off the bat at the end of the session. I did not realise it was going that suddenly. I don't remember it doing that last time, but maybe it did. Maybe it did. Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll have a look at the qualifying times at the end of that one and give you a look at what the grid will shape up like. So, it's Stefan Westra that is the fastest in car number 88 with a 2 minutes 12.257. Julian Van Buel will start alongside him on the front row of the grid. And as you see, Lauren Van Strijland, championship leader, and Leroy Bolkestein, second in the championship, will start side by side on the second row. Then it's Michael van der Ven and Guido Dekker qualifying in 6th position. Stefan van der Velde and then Patrick van den Bos will start on the 4th row of the grid. And then we will have Martin Smit and Marco van der Ven completing the top 10. No times there by Harro Gooden and Bart Verkerk. I think Bart just got a few off-track penalties during that session, and that means that he was not able to set a valid lap time as he went outside of track limits. He will actually start behind the car of Harro Gooden in this one, because Gooden will have a higher I rating than him, which will put him ahead on the grid. So any cars that don't basically set a lap time will have sorted, well, be sorted, I should say, by their I rating. There's Martin Smit taking to the circuit. Love this car. Very, very interesting colour scheme. Reminds me almost like a large Latvian flag with the colours. He's just taken to the circuit to check out the conditions, which you can see on the right-hand side of your screen there. I'm not quite sure the hectopascals are correct on the barometrics. But 46% humidity here at Monza. It's not too hot though, 24 degrees, which gives us a 31 degree track temperature. And it's the iRacing default date of May the 15th, but now 2024. It's 11:15 in the sim. Slight bit of cloud here and there, but I don't think that it's going to get any cooler than that. I think once the cars all start circulating fully, the track temperature will only get hotter. We have a 5-minute warm-up here, just a little break between qualifying and the race for the drivers to get reused to the conditions. Just any couple of degrees difference from one session to the next can really change how the tyres last, how you can attack certain corners. Also your braking markers as well. As the sun makes its way around the circuit, especially at somewhere like Monza, you have to think about the trees and the shadows that they cast. And Harro Gooden not actually in the dinosaur livery this time around. Am I thinking of somebody else that was in that livery, or was it Harro? Pretty sure it was. But he is now, by the look of it, joined up with Lauren Van Strijland and his teammate, the pole man, Stefan Westra, who we saw just there at the side of the circuit. I think he was doing a practice start for a moment. It certainly looks like it. It's difficult to get right, so let's see what he does. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? It's all about not letting it bog down. Oh, that was a big bog down. That seemed like a good one, didn't it? So, Westra, a lot to prove from the front of the grid here. Like I say, he's only made it to 2 rounds so far, rounds 2 and 4. Typically, the 2 races that I haven't broadcasted. But he scored 23 points both times. I think finishing 3rd on his first attempt, and then finishing 2nd in the race after that, behind Lauren Van Strijland. So, he's definitely a driver to keep an eye on here tonight. Harro Gooden continues on in his little warm-up session. Obviously not able to get any laps in during qualifying, so he's sort of reacclimatising to how the track is right now. Put some wheels on the grass on the way into Ascari. That's very scary when you do that in a Clio, because the back end will overtake the front quicker than you can possibly imagine. But he makes his way down the back straight towards the final corner, but session will be over in just a moment's time. And then we'll be all done here for warm-up. Looking down the pit lane, there's only a few cars stationary. I say stationary actually, but by the look of it, the 61 of Stefan van der Velde is sort of twitching away for some reason. But it's nice calm conditions for this race, like I've said in the description of the YouTube video as well, which if you could give a like, by the way, everybody that's watching now, I would massively appreciate it. It will really help out with the YouTube algorithm. It'll certainly help the channel, help this certain stream. But the slipstreaming is going to be oh so important tonight. These cars punch a mighty hole in the air, and it's going to be very exciting to see just how that slipstream holds the field together. Right then, let's do this, shall we? Let's have another look at our grid very quickly. Stefan Westra on pole position on the inside line with Julian Van Buel alongside. Then it's Laurens van Strijland and Leroy Bolkestein. Michael van der Ven, or Michael van der Ven, with Guido Dekker on row 3. Then it's Stefan van der Velde alongside Patrick van den Bos on row 4, ahead of Martin Smit and Marco van der Ven. I'll get it right one day, boys. Promise. Harro Gooden next up in 11th place. As mentioned, he will be ahead of Bart Verkerk. And this will be a very exciting race here at Monza. Like I've said, we don't need the biggest grids in the world for it to be a fun race. The countdown will start now, but it will restart once the race gets underway. There's Westra on the left-hand side of the grid. I assumed that he'd be on the inside line. He's got Julian Van Buel alongside him there in the UGX colours in car number 5. And by the look of it, everybody's lined up and all ready to go. So round 5 of the UGX Clio Cup from Monza, Autodromo Nazionale Monza, is underway, and look at that, the practice starts working well for Stefan Westra. He gets away beautifully. There's a great move in the middle of the pack there by Michael van der Ven. He's had a really good getaway, but the car behind trying to come through is Stefan van der Velde in car 61. We've got the 3 G-Force cars trying to move around. The 14, Leroy Bolkestein, one way, then the other, locks it up down the inside, and he's hit Westra, and he's gone across, and he's hit also the championship leader, Laurens van Strijland. He's gone across the grass, has to rejoin, and it's Julian Van Buel that takes the race lead through all of that. Leroy Bolkestein just way overdid it, wiggling one way, then the other, then locked it up on the brakes. I think Harro Gooden might have had a slowdown penalty as well. The car's going quite slowly on the exit, but Julian Van Buel leads this race. Michael van der Ven up 3 places, Guido Dekker up 3 places, same with Stefan van der Velde and Patrick van den Bos. Bart Verkerk up 4 positions at the start, and now he's right in the thick of it. Westra, Bolkestein all together right behind Martin Smit. Westra will not be happy with that one. He turned him and then originally, and then went across the front of this man, Laurens van Strijland, championship leader. He's got 20 points in the bag, so he doesn't need to worry too much. He's got Bart Verkerk all over the back of him right now. Bart looking down the inside into the second of Lesmos. What on earth has gone on here? Harro Gooden off the road, and is that again with Bolkestein? Let's have a look here from on board with Harro Gooden. Around the first of the Lesmos. There's Westra. He gets alongside him. Oh, there's a little bit of netcode and it turns Bolkestein left. It's only the tiniest bit of contact, but there was a lot of netcode involved in that there, unfortunately. Oh, dearie me, Westra's off. Westra's off big time, and Marco van der Ven is involved. Oh, this has gone horribly wrong for Stefan Westra from pole position. Van der Ven has decided that's that. Let's have a look what's happened here. He's looking down his inside. He's moved over to the right a bit, and then again, and then again. Oh, there's more netcode there, but I mean, he didn't need to keep coming over to the right. And to be fair, I mean, Van der Ven was a little bit over to the left-hand side as well. It was tough stuff. Who was that behind them? Martin Smit. You can see, look, the 666 is going over to the left a bit away from the white line, but I mean, Westra was trying to squeeze him to the inside line for some reason by the look of it. We go further up the field, though, because Guido Dekker is side by side with Michael van der Ven, the Ilanis car on the left-hand side of your screen. And around the outside goes Guido, holds on to that second place. That makes it a 1-2 for the UGX team at this moment in time. Van Buel ahead of Dekker, then it's Michael van der Ven, Stefan van der Velde and Patrick van den Bos. at the back of this train, hoping to stick with them. Like I say, slipstream important. That's what's going to cling these guys together in this lead pack. 180 kilometres an hour now, going through 190. Westra's come into the pits to get his car repaired after that big hit earlier on. Late going down the gears there by the feel of it. Hopping and skipping over the curbs. Now what about Van Strijlen behind? Because the gap, it's not tiny, it's 1.8 seconds. It looks a lot bigger from this camera angle. But it's the battle in front that Patrick Van den Bos is going to want to stick with at this moment. Guido Dekker, he's the man that's trying to defend at the moment from Van der Ven. And here is the run down towards Ascari once again. The slipstream from these guys will be massive. Van der Ven not looking like he wants to stay in said slipstream that much to begin with, but now look at the speed difference. Starts to close in and close in. But then he's careful on the brakes not to get too close to the back of the 69 car. It's great seeing this angle of them go through Ascari. The car doesn't really lean much actually, considering it's a little front wheel drive touring car. But what a start for Julian Van Buel. He'll be over the moon with that. Second on the grid really worked out for him. We'll have a look back at it though from Leroy Bolkestein's point of view and see just how it all unfolded. So he started 4th on the grid. You've got Van Buel in front of him, and then Van Strijlen on the left-hand side, and then race leader into turn 1 with the pole sitter Stefan Westra. It was a great start by Bolkestein. But Van Buel comes over to the right to defend slowly, because he was going to originally block off Van Strijlen, but look, he wants to come over here. Bolkestein makes a point of going left, then right very hard, then he goes as late on the brakes as he dares, locks it up, hits Westra, and then goes across the front of Van Strijlen. Just a little miscalculation, and that's all it can cause. Just tried to go as late as he dared, and it didn't work out for him. Now Van Strijlen is less than a second behind Patrick Van den Bos here, and he has lost the pack in front. Not sure he's going to get much slipstream there. You've got Bart Verkerk behind this as well. Bart's got Harro Gooden and Leroy Bolkestein with him. Martin Smit, Stefan Westra, all involved. Well, an exciting opening lap. And now the drivers need to try and settle into some sort of rhythm. Van der Ven has got pressure right there from Stefan van der Velde. Stefan in car 61 started this race 7th on the grid. Bart Verkerk has gained the most places right from the back of the grid up into 7th. He really benefited from all of the chaos in the opening lap. But look at this now, Laurens Van Strijlen on the back of Van den Bos, and he's got a great run out of the second Lesmo. Van den Bos over to the right. Van Strijlen says thank you very much, I'll make the most of that. Squeezes by on the left. Is he actually going to get rid of the overlap before Ascari? I'm not sure he is. Need to be careful about this one because it could slow them both down, and, well, to be fair, Patrick Van den Bos does the wise thing there and doesn't let the overlap get the better of him. Harro Gooden and Leroy Bolkestein have both got past Bart Verkerk. Both of them making the move just a moment ago. Let's have a look at this. And again, it just comes down. Whoa, big move by Harro Gooden. I think he scares Bart Verkerk a little bit wide, maybe. Oh, Bart just kissing the gravel. And it actually slows you down now on iRacing. You used to be able to just fly across it with no consequence, and the two of them just sneak by. Although Bart Verkerk's still all over the back of Bolkestein ahead of him. Bolkestein's got a point to prove now, hoping to regain the places that he lost from being so high up the order. Here is your race leader, Julian Van Buel. Car number 5 for UGX currently leads this race by about 3.4 seconds. There's, oh dearie me, there's a car coming out of the pits there, which is Stefan Westra. Stefan has luckily, oh dearie me, I think he was trying to stay out of the way for a sec there, but Stefan has luckily come out in a gap, I was going to say. But what he's done there is unintentionally, I said unintentionally, hold up Guido Dekker. I think he was trying to just get on the brakes and stay out of the way. But now that's put Guido under attack by Michael van der Ven, who's got a fantastic run around the Curva Grande sweep and in front before the braking zone as well. And look at that behind, Laurens Van Strijlen down the inside of Stefan van der Velde. Stefan says, not on your life, sunshine. I want this line. As oh, he's come across the front of him though on the exit. Understeers wide into the front of him. Laurens van Struylen has been knocked about all over the place now, and through once again goes Patrick van den Bos. Or does he? Oh, he's come back over, and Van Struylen won't be happy with that. That's 2 cars now that have moved across him. And again, is he given room on the exit? Not really. Sneaks by. Oh, he doesn't want to move over to the right too much, and well, Patrick van den Bos doesn't want to move over to the left too much either. You don't need to make contact at this part of a circuit like this. If you're on basically a straight, you don't need to be moving around as much as this. We saw a little bit of that at Catalunya, where 2 drivers that were racing closely side by side kept moving over on one another, and there was a colossal accident involving Bart Verkerk, hit the end of a wall and went flying. Julian Van Buel, well, he's loving life at the moment. 4.3 seconds is the gap now back to Mikel van der Ven. But right behind him, actually, on the road, is Stefan Westra. Not sure if Stefan is going to move out of the way, because really he's quicker than everybody else here on 1 lap pace. Although it looks to me like he's letting everybody by, which is good of him. Moves over to the left and allows the field through. Looks also like Mikel van der Ven moves over to the left-hand side to avoid giving slipstream to anybody. Westra's making this nice and clear for everyone to go by, which is lovely to see. Good sportsmanship, that's how you want lap traffic to behave. It's a shame that he's in that position. He's actually pulling in front of his teammate Laurens van Struylen to maybe give him some slipstream here. But if Laurens feels the need to have a look down the inside, it might compromise his racing line here. Let's see what they do on the exit. No, he's not giving him slipstream, he's just getting out of the way. He's making it clear over to the left, and then he'll gradually wind the throttle off as they get round Curva Grande now. And there he goes. The car behind is Patrick van den Bos, and at the moment Westra just slots in behind to ensure that he sort of protects his teammate a little bit at this stage of the race. So it's Van Buel leading Van der Ven, Guido Dekker in 3rd place, then Van der Velde and Van Struylen in the top 5. Everybody's still running though, which is great to see. Marco van der Ven did get back into the race, but unfortunately he is a while down. He's 1 minute and 39 seconds off this man, Martin Smit, who I also believe had his own dramas in the early stage of the race. There's a little bit of a moment there as the car understeers wide. But Westra helping his teammate here with a bit of bump drafting. It's worked out in his favour here to help Laurens van Struylen in the championship. To potentially, quite literally, push him towards that title. Because at the moment he's a few places ahead of Bolkestein, and he's going to gain a bunch of points on him. Bolkestein just 3 cars back. Oh, he's involved in this as well. That's his teammate Patrick van den Bos in front of him. He's getting great slipstream though. Look at the speed difference in the cars. Van den Bos wants to move over and get onto the racing line, but Bolkestein tries to go all the way around the outside. He's running a little bit wide. That's Harrow Gooden in there with them. But watch the slingshot that he's going to get now once he gets back in this slipstream. We'll stay on board. I think Bart Verkerk's internet has played up a slight bit here, because on the timing software that I use, we get told what the maximum speed is that any car has reached. Apparently Bart Verkerk has done 363 kilometres an hour. Really not sure that the Clio can do that much, but you never know. The power of Barbie is immeasurable. As down the inside goes Bolkestein on his teammate, tries to go as late as he dares. Has to cut a lot of that first chicane, and well, it looks like there's no team orders here between these guys. They do have a bit of a battle going on between the pair, it's safe to say. But this battling is not helping them, because it means that Harrow Gooden is going to get away. And cars 4 and 14 in flying formation. It looks beautiful around Curva Grande, but it's not helpful for either of them to be doing this. Just under 18 minutes of the race left to go here at Monza. It certainly flies by at a place like this. And Bolkestein leaving very minimal room to slide in front of his teammate and hopefully, for his sake, go chasing after Harrow Gooden. But we've got a lot of the same teams there in the middle of the pack. Guido Dekker is the next car on Van Struylen's radar, but he's doing a good job of holding 3rd place at the minute. 2 closest cars together are the ones we were just looking at a moment ago, Bolkestein and Van den Bos. The field not very spread out at this moment. This is how they all currently are, but you can see that the car in 11th, which is Marco van der Ven, is almost an entire lap behind the car in 10th place of Martin Smit. Julian Van Buel's lead has actually got bigger now. He's got 5.1 seconds over Michael van der Ven. Don't forget, he qualified high up, did Van Buel, so it's not like he's there by fluke. He's there on merit with the fact that he survived the Turn 1 incident and has then been able to drive away and use the pace, while the other quick drivers that qualified around him have all been held up by the traffic and by the battling that's going on a little bit further back. It's Michael van der Ven, then Guido Dekker, and then Laurent van Stralen with his teammate literally shoving him along. Look at this terrifying helmet design on Stefan Westra's lid, but look at the speed here. We're going to go over 200 kilometers an hour with the slipstream and the push from Westra, and then he's going to brake a little bit early to play it safe, and the two of them go flying into the first chicane. Van Stralen really throwing that car in. The gap has gone down. It's 1.1 seconds. Oh, Marco van der Ven is off the road and somehow wedged between the safety truck that's hidden behind the barrier and the wall. What have you done here, Marco? I'm not sure if he's driven it round there on his own and parked it, because it looked very well parked. Oh no, he's had a spin and then he's got going and... he's hit the end of the railing. And then has he got it stuck? Oh, it's a solid object, that truck. I would have expected you could drive through it, and then I think he's got it wedged. I think he's given up at that point. Is he still there? No, he's got going again. So Marco van der Ven gets going. But unfortunately, with a bit of a damaged ego and a bit of a damaged car, I'm afraid. Now, Guido Dekker is very much under attack now from Van Stralen and kind of from Westra, but obviously Westra's not battling him for direct position as such. And then you've got the flurry of G-Force racing cars behind. Stefan van der Velde, Harro Gooden just behind him, then Leroy Bolkestein. Bolkestein back in the slipstream once again now as they head down towards Curva di Alboreto for the 7th time of asking. It was an absolute Austin Powers moment, White Van Gaming. It absolutely was. But hats off to him. He got the car back out there as Bolkestein very late on the brakes. We've seen that he can be really good on the brakes. But obviously that moment in turn 1, once the car had locked up, there was no way out of it really, and ended up in a 3-wide scenario, and that was that. As there's been a change further ahead, Laurent van Stralen has got ahead of Guido Dekker. And I can see just in front that the two teammates both seem to have gone through. Actually, Westra's gone by as well, past Guido Dekker. Let's have a quick look at it. I wasn't changing camera for a second there, I do apologise. This is the move. They'll just fly past in the slipstream. Look at the black and yellow flying formation here. Watch the speed difference as they come past the camera. Van Stralen just creeps by on the right. Nothing really that Guido Dekker could do, I should say. Stefan Westra didn't need to put himself in that position, though. That's a little bit clumsy, I think. Sure, he's quicker on paper than the guys around him, but I found the blocking of... I mean, it's not intentional blocking, but to get in the way of Westra... to get in the way of Dekker like that was very unnecessary, I think, when you're a car that's a lap down as well. Sure, he's helping his teammate, but I don't agree with jumping in front like that. As this is a great battle. This is Van der Velde, Harro Gooden and Leroy Bolkestein. These guys need to be so careful moving around. It's pointless going to this camera because they're actually over on the right of the circuit now. And look at the push that he's giving Gooden. Well, he's giving him a Gooden, isn't he? Absolutely flooring it along. He's going to have to lift a little bit early for Ascari. Oh, he's locked it up again. He's slammed on the brakes as Bolkestein. He's done that to himself. He was just too close and he had to react way too quickly and slam on the brakes, and that hasn't helped proceedings. I'm pretty sure he'll get a slowdown penalty for that as you get here on iRacing, and he'll have to give at least a second of time back and slow down. But the man that's really helped is this man, Harrow Gooden. It really has done him a good one, to be honest. He'll be really pleased with that. But at the same time, he'll be feeling slightly embarrassed by that one, will Leroy Bolkestein. Got the 3 teammates in flying formation as well, Van der Velde, Bolkestein and Van den Bos, the G-Force racing machines. And Julian Van Buel's lead has got even bigger. 6 seconds now for the number 5 car. It doesn't sound like he's on a flat-out lap, does it, at this point? Because of the fact that the cars are just that low revving. Really doesn't sound like they're absolutely going for it. But Julian Van Buel doing a great job at the moment and continuing to be the driver to catch. He's had that break at the front of the field and he's really, really making it work, isn't he? It's great to just ride on board with these cars, just see how much they do move around from the outside. They certainly are lively little things. They're a good laugh, that's for sure. It's great to be here at Monza for this one as well. Like I said, it's such a legendary circuit. I love seeing any sort of racing here. It's a fantastic place to be. Just updating the overlay a little bit, sorry. Just there's a few little details behind the scenes that weren't quite adding up, and hopefully everything's displayed a little bit more crisp now. Martin Smith's just had a bit of a run wide through the second Lesmo. He's trying to catch up with Bart Verkerk, who's there somewhere. 4 seconds ahead. He's 7 seconds behind the trio of G-Force racing cars, but Bart is on for a top 10 finish at least. Got to be in it to win it. Look at Laurent van Stralen now chasing Michael van der Ven with just over 10 minutes left. Getting an almighty push from his teammate. What we'll do here is we'll compare the speed. We'll go on board with Michael van der Ven as he comes around the final corner now. We'll see what sort of speed he gets up to. Up into 5th gear, 160 kilometres an hour. Across the line he goes. Well, let's do the start-finish line, although the start line, which is a bit further down. He's doing 194. Van Stralen's doing, well, 197 by the time we change to him. And those extra kilometres an hour more. Only about 3 between the two cars. It does make all the difference when you're doing it for that long. When you're getting the push from your teammate behind. This is how it looks from Westra's point of view. Car filling the windscreen. And now, to be honest, Van Stralen is going to get slipstream from Van der Ven in front of him. So Westra has done the job and sort of pushed him towards that slipstream, which will help drag Van Stralen along. 9 minutes to go here at Monza in round 5 of the UGX Clio Cup. Thanks, of course, to championship sponsors UGX and Ilanis Advice and Media. Broadcasted here on Chaz Draycott Media. Hope you're enjoying the show, everybody. I know Van Stralen's enjoying the show. He's having a great race, despite what happened at turn 1. He goes back to 2nd position. Great battle in between these 3, though. It was clean stuff from Van der Ven. Niall Crowther for the championship points in the chat. Great to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Michael van der Ven's car, yeah, the Ilanis cars look fantastic. Unfortunately, his teammate, Marco van der Ven, is not having a good time. He's back in the pits after a couple of incidents. And Stralen and Michael having a good old fight. I don't want to see Westra spoil this now for Van der Ven because, yeah, he's quicker than these guys on paper, but being a lap down, you wouldn't want him to really ruin Michael's race. Van Stralen moves over to the left, gives him the slipstream, but you don't really want him fighting there. I don't agree with that from Westra. I don't think he should be involved here. I think the more respectful thing to do would be sit behind Van der Ven. He's not in this race for this position, and Van der Ven has to run a compromised line to avoid contact with Westra. This is not good in my eyes, I'm afraid. Hats off to Stefan for his pace. He's very, very quick and obviously qualified on pole position, but I don't agree with this getting involved with the fight with these guys. This battle's come back alive, though. Harrow Gooden has been caught up again by Leroy Bolkestein. The two of them remain side by side down the start-finish straight. Cars 14 and 15. Bolkestein gets a great run as well. If we go on the roof camera, you might just see the front end of that car creeping by. There's a little bit of moving around there from Gooden. He slightly wavered over to the left. Turns in a little bit late. Bolkestein tries to make the most of it. Tries to get a good run on the exit, and his teammate now Van der Velde is with him, and he's going to try and push him forward in the slipstream. But like I said, we don't need all the cars in the world to have a good race. There's plenty of battling going on here in the UGX Clio Cup. Thank you to Guido Decker and Bart Verkerk for culminating together to get me on board with this. It's been great fun so far. These guys might not be having as much fun as we think they are, though, because I think there's a bit of tension going on between these two. Bolkestein throws it down the inside. Gooden gets a, well, not quite Gooden on terms of the exit. Bounce in the background there by Patrick van den Bos. Van der Velde all over the back of him, trying to find a way through in the gorgeous G-Force racing car. He's going to get fed up of seeing blue cars right now, is Harrow Gooden. He's got one right in front of him and one in his mirrors. Beautiful livery, like I say, but you don't want to stare at it that long. Gillian Van Buel's lead is now 6.4 seconds. It just gets bigger every time we look at it. No. This is an almighty scrap between these three. Up towards Ascari once again. Van der Velde will try to be as smooth as he can and focus on the exit here. He's going to have so much slipstream. Tucks the car over to that curb. Nice smooth exit. You can use quite a bit of that curb on the right, but he doesn't go over it at all. And look, he can't quite stick with Gooden because he's getting some slipstream from Bolkestein. They're both catching up with Bolkestein, but they're not catching up with each other. Onto the brakes they go into Curva di Alboreto. Oh, Gooden's car really pitches in, but he's taking that tighter line, and all he was going to do was run into the back of Bolkestein there, so no help and nothing gained. But look how much they run over to the right. Because they're such low-powered cars, you have to shorten the line as much as possible. 5 minutes left to go here in round 5 of the UGX Clio Cup. Great race from Monza, as expected, in these wonderful little cars. These guys need to be careful, though, moving closer and closer to each other like that. He's just trying to keep a gap in between. There's no point moving left and right. There's a big lock-up again. Somebody needs to buy Leroy Bolkestein some new brake pads. Straight through the barrier as he goes, but he has to slam on again. Gets an almighty slowdown penalty. And now it's up to his teammate Van der Velde to try and steal that position away from Harrow Gooden. He's tagged him in. Bolkestein's going to be running a lot slower than these guys down there as well. Van der Ven is still with Van Stryland here, but it's just Westra in the middle, sort of acting as a rear tail gunner to his teammate and not allowing anyone to sneak by as such. Harrow Gooden still with a lot of defending to do. Stefan van der Velde's had a bit of an up and down race. He's shown epic pace at one point and then sort of just sat behind the driver in front of him at other points. But as we head up to Ascari, we're probably only going to get 2 more laps here. It's just over 2 minutes per lap. We don't get an extra lap once the counter hits 0. It finishes on the lap that it hits 0. But Julian Van Buel, what a race he's had. Very lucky at the start to avoid that incident, but he has been flying in this one. There's Marco van der Ven in the gorgeous Ilanus Motorsport colours, car 666, with the purple highlights instead of the blue. He holds the inside line and allows race leader to go through, I was going to say. It was with all best intentions by Marco van der Ven to try and stay out of the way. I didn't think he'd expect the race leader to want that tight line as well. Yeah, 3 minutes left to go here at Monza, so 2 laps for Harrow Gooden to hold on for dear life ahead of Stefan van der Velde. He's going to push him all the way down the straight. It's looking like Laurens van Stryland is going to be pretty much declared as champion here, because he's going to have a healthy advantage in the points over Leroy Bolkestein, who is going to fire whoever installed his brakes for this race meeting. Great launch down the inside by Stefan van der Velde. Runs a little bit wide though. Oh, he's not left the room for Gooden there. You could argue that Gooden didn't have to make the contact, but Van der Velde just didn't leave the room. That's twice that we've seen him sort of go down the inside of somebody and then run them wide. It's like almost like a Formula 1 tactic. But there's no sort of entitlement to the apex or exit of a corner or anything along those lines. But there's It's not the perfect angle really for it, to be honest. You'll see it here from Harrow Gooden. The only thing you're not entitled to do is push another driver off the racetrack. You're entitled to be where you want on it. And yeah, it was innocent understeer though by Van der Velde. Nothing intentional at all to run him out of room, but there just wasn't the room there. He just understeered wide into him. A little bit over enthusiastic, I think. He's fallen down to 7th, and now Leroy Bolkestein's been tagged back in to go after him. But Julian Van Buell, the lead has come down a little bit because Laurent van Strijland and his teammate Stefan Westra are really pushing to catch up, but I don't think they're going to be able to do enough to make up that deficit by pure slipstream alone in the last lap of the race. There they are in the background, just together as... Ooh, Van Strijland was very wide out of Ascari. Don't think he's going to get a slowdown penalty for that. It's one 8-wheeled Clio at the minute. Van der Ven's going to be happy if he gets a podium here. Mikel has started 5th in this race and moved up due to the contact earlier on. He's benefited from the likes of Leroy Bolkestein and Stefan Westra losing their places. Guido Decker's also gained 2 places. Harrow Gooden is actually on a belter though. He started 11th on the grid after a qualifying ban. He's been in some solid battles throughout this race, and it looks to me like he is going to take the biggest mover in the field this time round. Bart Verkerk has still gained 3 places up into the top 10 in the Bart Mobile. His car into the pits actually. It's Marco van der Ven. He's coming in one more time. I think he just likes saying hello to his pit crew at this point. But Julian Van Buell has been absolutely sublime out front here. Like I say, the gap is going down. Van Strijland, the championship leader and about to be pretty much confirmed champion. It might not be a mathematic definition, but to be honest, Van Strijland has been so impressive, winning almost every race this season. It'll be strange to see him not win a race here on Chaz Draycott Media. But it's not for lack of trying. He's had 2 incidents where he's been shoved off the road through no fault of his own, and the stewards will be busy, I'm sure, for the weeks ahead before we go to the final at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit in 2 weeks' time. Everybody, really looking forward to that one. You can join me on the 21st of February, back once again on Chaz Draycott Media, and that will conclude the first season of the UGX Clio Cup, and we can look forward to another one. Teammates close together out of the second Lesmo. I love that camera transition then. Leroy Bolkestein and Stefan van der Velde just together as they head up towards Ascari once more. But we need to go right to the front of the field because 17 seconds ahead of these guys is this man, Julian Van Buell. Started 2nd on the grid, on the front row, defended his line, stayed out of it when there was a little bit of contact here and there, just about survived it. And the UGX driver has done everything right tonight since then. He started opening up a gap. The battles behind kept all the drivers at bay. And as he rounds the final corner, we may see a flash of the headlights. We may see a weave across the line. But Julian Van Buell wins at Monza in the UGX Clio Cup, takes round 5 to be his own. And a great drive indeed. 3 different teams on the podium though, as Laurent van Strijland flying formation finish with Stefan Westra, his teammate who helped him out big time there. Mikel van der Ven finishes in 3rd position. Guido Decker gets 4th place, big points for him. Harrow Gooden, biggest mover in the field ahead of Leroy Bolkestein and Stefan van der Velde, the 2 teammates that had a good scrap there. Patrick van den Bos finishes 8th with Bart Verkerk. A couple of seconds back there, but still inside the top 10 for Bart Verkerk. He'll be over the moon with a top 10 finish, and Martin Smit will get the same as well. He didn't quite have as exciting a race as he had at Catalunya, but he did a good job all the same. Marco van der Ven will be the final car to complete the field on this occasion. A little bit of a wide run on the exit of the corner there by van der Ven. But that is the race, everybody. We'll have a look at the race results, and I'm sure Spotify will stop because it doesn't like it when I speak for more than 30 seconds at a time. Julian Van Buell takes the win. 6.3 seconds, 6.4 give or take, ahead of Laurent van Strijland, but still 2nd place for him. Very important for the championship, and he's all but got it wrapped up ahead of the Nürburgring. Then it's Mikel van der Ven in 3rd position, with Guido Decker finishing in 4th, ahead of Harrow Gooden finishing inside the top 5. Leroy Bolkestein finishes in 6th place for G-Force Racing in a trio of cars there, with Stefan van der Velde and Patrick van den Bos behind. Bart Verkerk finishes in 9th place, with Martin Smith completing the top 10 as we saw. Stefan Westra maybe raised a few eyebrows in that one, but he gets 11th place and still some points at least for finishing, and Marco van der Ven will have the same. So I'm just checking to see if any drivers are around for an interview, but I don't think they are. I think there's a bunch of them that are just going to be popping offline now, and that will be the end of the show by the look of it. But a very, very interesting race here at Monza. Great fun, and we'll have a look once more at the start of the race and see just how all of that unfolded. So here we go. This is from a bit further back. This is Stefan van der Velde. I think probably the best car to go on board with is Michael van der Ven. So the car on the right, Bolkestein, gets a great start. But as you'll see, it was unfortunately his misdemeanors this evening with the brake pedal that caused the issue. So you can see he goes to go for the left-hand side, but then the car drags itself back to the right, locks up the brakes into Westra. He goes across the bonnet of Van Buel, but there was nothing Van Buel could do there. I think there was a little bit more contact behind as well. I think Van der Velde and Guido Decker maybe got into one another. But what a great night of racing here in the UGX Clio Cup. I've really enjoyed myself once again, and I hope you've enjoyed the show as well here on Chaz Draycott Media. Thank you very much for joining us all, everybody, and of course, in 2 weeks' time we'll be back for the finale of the season at the Nürburgring, and it should be a lot of fun. Thanks also to the championship sponsors of the UGX Clio Cup, UGX themselves, and Ilanus Advice and Media. I've been Chaz Draycott for round 5 of the UGX Clio Cup. We'll see you for round 6 in 2 weeks' time, everybody. Have a great evening. Four French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. They're 3 wide again. Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across. They're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
But before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy. You know, these are 5-ton machines, 1,200 horsepower brake.
Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been mugged and it's ready to go out. Ben Gregory now, I love it. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.